We have overcome. 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 Now Jesus died because he loved me. We have overcome. And he rose again to set me free. We have overcome. 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 Jesus said, be born again. We have overcome. Trust in him, yes, enter in. We have overcome. 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 He gave me grace to see his face. We have overcome. To dwell with him in a heavenly place. We have overcome. We have overcome. We have overcome. We
Sirs and madams, Boker Tove, on behalf of Lamb Airlines, the captain and myself, we welcome you aboard Flight 777, Chapter 13. I'm Mrs. John Craig, and I will be, well, your captain.
Oh, Sandy's on the other side of the spaceship, and we don't seem to be meshing exactly right, but we'll get there because it will all average out. Flight 777, Chapter 13 is a non-stop service taking off from planet Jonan, the 21,254th planet from the sun, where all 14 Johnans have the same first name, John, and though all of these 14 Johnans live in the same town, not one of them have ever met. We just picked up one of those Johnans who happens to be our guest traveler for this week's journey. His name, John. Go figure. Side note, the other 13 Johnans were all standing at the loading dock waiting to get on the spaceship. We would love to have loaded them in too, but there are passenger limit regulations and we were already at our limit. Sorry, Johnson residents, maybe next time. We are now continuing on to planet Earth, the third rock from the sun, the only planet known to be just slightly larger than Venus, our sister planet. Well, you can't call it our brother planet because that would be Mars. You know, women are from Venus and men are from Mars. What was that book again? Our mission on Flight 777 is to take you to places you can share the love. This one right here.
There's life on other planets, and I'm sure that he must know. And he's been there once already, and has died to save their souls.
All right.
Okay, it's over now. Go ahead. Yeah, she's lagging big time. Okay. You're lagging, Sandy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm buying this thing that men are from Mars, but Captain, women are from what? We're the creation of the one and only Lord God Almighty. Our flight time will be a little over an hour, and we're going to be flying at an altitude of so high that if you have a fear of heights, then after flying with Lamb Airlines, you might be on the road to recovery and at an airspeed so fast that if you have a fear of going too fast, then you need to find a porch swing, a porch swing on one of those lower decks that have no windows and read a book because time passes much slower when you're having no fun. Remember the old saying that time flies when you're having fun. And of course, reading a book is no fun. Wait. That's not true. Mark, you know that it's not true statement. Reading is fun, especially the Bible.
All right. How many lower decks do we have, Captain Ed? Make sure your regulation spaceship cabin seats are in their full upright position. That is, if we still have regulation spaceship cabin seats. The Captain Ed has a compulsory inclination to change out our passenger seating on a semi-regular basis. I'll just leave it at that. No reason to upset the norm.
Norm, Captain? Please define norm when used by one of the most let's see.
I believe normal is the word you're looking for, Captain Ed, when used by one of the most normal human beings alive.
Sure, Captain. Normal. You are the most normal person I know. Don't get me to lying.
Sorry.
By the way, you
Go
might
ahead.
remember that the International Interplanetary Council on Regulatory Spaceship Adherence has a couple of weeks ago when they came and their inspection finished out at a pitiful 98.6.
98.6. I don't think I got the final results. Why 98.6? Hey, 98.6. It's good to have you back again. Oh, baby. Don't you love my baby?
Captain,
Yeah,
Captain,
yeah. Why not 100%? The IICRSA has a very strict standard when transporting passengers, but we always pass with 100% flying colors. I don't get the 98.6. What's the deal?
the reason we got a 98.6 and the reason you don't know the results are the same, Captain. The
Yeah.
IICRSA tried to contact you during the inspection because you were supposed to be here for the inspection. You never
Really?
check your space phone text, Captain. Never.
Space phone text? Oh, that's right. We can get text messages on that thing. You know, I don't even do text on my regular phone. Why would I check messages on my space phone? Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. So
Yeah.
you can get the IICRSA notifications and so we can pass the inspections and so I can
Yeah.
contact you.
That's right. Right. Okay. Well, make sure your regulation passenger seats, if we have them, are in their full upright position. Make sure your carved out gourd half plates are set on the tray tables and the hand towelettes are folded in half and laid in a rectangular position next to the plates in anticipation of the Buffalo buffet we're having today. Hey, that rhymes. I didn't even know.
Buffalo buffet, Captain?
Right. Well, you sound surprised, Captain.
Every week, Captain. Every week without fail.
Well, look, Buffalo is kosher, Captain.
Well, you're right. Buffalo is, but where in all the planets did we get buffalo, Captain? If I'm not mistaken, and I rarely am, buffalo is protected on Earth and it can't be killed.
Why we got it on planet Buff on, Captainette, the 7,420th planet from the sun. Of course, we've flown right by it 100 times. They raise savory buffalo there, along with buffaloes and buffalo-fraggers.
Why do I feel I'm being led into something that it's going to be hard to come back from? Okay, I'll buy it. So to speak, what are buffaloes and buffa-praggers? I already know I'm going to be sorry for asking this one.
Probably so. Don't be silly, Captainette. Buffaloes are baby buffaloes, and buffa-praggers are...
Pregnant buffaloes.
That's right, buffa-praggers. That's right, right. Again, you sound surprised. I don't see why you... Oh, well then, if you're done with the third degree, Captain, please check to make sure your neon tube in your overhead light is working. If not, you'll find extra tubes in the drawer under your seat. You will have to change these tubes yourself as our stewards. Notice I did not specify a gender here, like stewardesses and, guy stewards. This is because Lamb Airlines is not gender standard specific compliant with the world standards of gender equality standard compliant standards. Please make sure your overhead lights work.
Can't find your seatbelts? Well, get up out of those seats and reach down between the cushions. I'm sure you'll find a seatbelt fastener that fell down after the last passenger who sat in the seat. You might even find some loose change. If so, it belongs to Lamb Airlines and you'll have to turn it in.
That's right.
There's a box in the forward cabin marked change found between the seat cushions while searching for your seatbelt fasteners.
That's right. Every time I put in there, get up out of your seats, I can't help but think of the old, I can't think of who did the song, but it's like, get up out of your seats and do that funky thing. Get up out of here. Yeah, I just can't. It's there. I had to write that in there. Anyway, make sure your speakers are at a medium setting because today's flight 13 is called the Don't Cause a Ruckus flight. Some people just want to be left alone.
Maybe not, Captain. Make sure to turn off your audio, voice, video, and text machines. Video phones that can be used to do 1,000 other things. Just turn them off so you won't be maniacal during the flight 13 and that the Don't Cause a Ruckus flight. Passengers, I hope you're ready for some fun facts about Planet Jonan flight. And you know what, Pat? Here's the story of Jonan.
All right.
Everybody used to have different names on Jonan, but no one could remember each other's name, so they all wore name tags.
And one day, everybody thought the name tags didn't go with the clothes they were wearing for that day, so they stopped wearing name tags. That's right.
And from this day on, they decided that everybody would just have the same name, John, to make it easier.
Yes, but when one John talked to another John and used their name, John, in conversation, everyone else around them would stop what they were doing and respond, thinking it was their name being used.
And soon, everyone was talking at the same time because they thought the person who said John was talking to them.
That's right. After a while, they were so frustrated with everyone talking at the same time that they decided not to talk to each other at all.
Now they only talk to themselves and or do radio and television broadcasts by themselves.
For over 200 years, they still name every new baby born, male or female, John.
And to this day, no one ever says the name John And with the exception of procreation, no one has ever even met or talked to another John.
That's right. That's right. There you go.
And anyway, we hope that this info has somewhat brightened your day. This way, your visit to planet Earth will be most excellent,
That's
dude.
excellent,
Thank you
dude.
for flying Lamb Airlines.
That's right. Keep in mind, once we arrive on planet Earth, you are only visiting this planet, and it is your gospel duty to show the love of the Lord and kindness to its inhabitants. And as always, remember the verse from the Brit Hadashah, John 17:14, where Yeshua said to his Father, I have given your Devar to your people, and the world hates them because they do not belong to this planet, just as I myself do not belong to this planet. And what version is that from there, Captain Matt? Yeah. Uh-oh, you're muted. It muted you, Sandy. Why did it mute you?
Why, the MDSV, of course.
Oh, you mean the That's right, the Mark David Smith version. Your Captainette, and let's put this in here. Mrs. John Craig. She pastors the Life of Worship congregation in Amarillo, Texas, along with her husband, Mr. Sandi Craig. She also hosts Monday War Room Prayer Show with her husband, Mr. Sandi Craig. She also co-hosts with her husband, Mr. Sandi Craig, on the Let Us Reason Together show, Monday edition. She also hosts the Walking in Spirit and Truth show, Tuesday evenings, with her husband, Mr. Sandi Craig. An interesting unknown fact about Miss Humble Sandy is that she is the most intelligent blonde on any planet. That being said, she humbly posts the award-winning, citation achieved, endowment gifted, gold ribbon honored, trophy allotted, #1 raved about show on the entire internet broadcasting spectrum, the Planet Chapter.
Your captain, yes, Mr. Mark David Smith. Well, there's an interesting known fact, is that grass is green.
That's right. You're lagging like big time. I love you too, Sandy Lou. All right, there you go.
Welcome, everybody, to Chapter 13 of the Planet.
The Planet chapter. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I want to kick your internet in the butt. I want to hit your internet with a 2x4 and make it work. So there's times when you were following real good and real close there, but so it's going in and out. Can you hear me now? Are you there?
Oh yeah. The only time I don't hear is when there's a video playing.
Oh, okay.
And then because it mutes my mic and it's lagging behind, so whenever it's time for me to come back in, my mic is actually muted because the video is finally playing.
Right.
So it's the videos that get me the most. Yeah. I don't know what's wrong, folks. Sorry about it, but it's frustrating on my part too. Trust me.
Yeah. It'll work. We'll make it through it and go on, and we'll be good. So, did you have a little something for me you'd like to bring in?
I do. I want to ask you this question. Do you like Gatorade?
Yeah, sure. It's full of salt, which I shouldn't have, but I do.
Well, I have some news for you that's better than Gatorade. It's bananas. Do you like bananas?
What, bananas?
Yeah. Do you like
Yeah,
bananas? I love
sure,
bananas. I like to
sure.
have a banana day if I can. Well, it has been discovered that everything you need to do during a hardcore workout is all you need is a banana. Researchers tested banana versus Gatorade during a tough period of cycling, and during that, bananas
Oh,
deliver the same performance as sport drinks, and they don't have the salt and the artificial sugar
really?
and et cetera, et cetera. All you need is a banana. You don't need Gatorade.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. The latest time I had to drink, I actually was told by a doctor I had to drink Gatorade was right before my colonoscopy. You know, they for a colonoscopy, they actually make you take massive amounts of laxatives and all kinds of these other stuff, and 64 ounces of Gatorade
Yuck.
before the day before, half of it the day before and half of it the morning of your colonoscopy. That being said, let's bring in our guest. What an entrance for there's John.
Gatorade again.
None of us are named John, so we're
I won't know how to address you.
In my house,
Yeah,
they are.
that's okay. You can call me Captain and her Captainette if you want to. But
What I want to know is sign me up for the Buffalo Buffet, because I also think, I'm guessing there should be buffalo wings on there too.
There are. That is one thing I didn't bring up, but on Buff On, there are buffalo with wings. Everybody said buffalo don't have wings, so it's and what it is, it's actually the buffaloes. They have wings, and as they grow older, the wings just kind of disappear. So it's kind of like veal. If you get veal, never mind.
It's getting really deep in here. That's all I know.
These are bigger wings. There's real meat on these wings. See, to carry a buffalo, you got to have bigger wings.
That's right. Now, before the show, we were trying to get Sandy worked out, and you guys didn't get a chance to meet Sandy, John, Sandy, and so there you go.
John, it's so good to meet you, and I'm sorry for the stuff. So
we'll make it through
the world. Welcome to my world, right? Nothing goes right in my world.
Well, we have John on the Lamb Network on Mondays. In the morning, following John and Sandy, as a matter of fact, right after Let Us Reason Together, Monday edition, and then the Reason News, John comes on, and his show is called Bridging the Gap, and I absolutely love it. It's a unique show of its own kind. Give us a brief description of kind of your format of what you do.
Well, it kind of depends, I guess. Some weeks where I think I'm going to actually get to news, I end up with too much scripture and I don't get to news. But that's kind of the goal of the show, is to bring to life, I guess, kind of what's going on in the world, what scripture says, and also to try to bridge this gap, because, we see a lot of people coming out of churchianity, but where are they going to go? And I'm kind of new to this coming out of churchianity, and I'm very fortunate to have found Lamb, where, I think this is such an awesome platform, so that's the idea, is to try to present information to people about the times we're in, and kind of how we can live this life to bring glory and honor to our Creator.
Very good. I love it. Sandy and I, when we do our shows like Let Us Reason Together and this one and everything, we have a time frame format that both Sandy and I are very aware of all the time. It's like on Monday Reason, when John hosts the show, it's all we can do, or I'm not on anymore, Sandy, try to keep him within those time frames, because you only got so much time to do certain things. So I would like to offer Sandy's service to your show, that she can come on, and if you'll tell her how much time you want to spend on each different segment, Sandy will be in the background making sure, John, time. Okay, you're done with that. You got to go with this one. I would like to offer Sandy's services to you.
That's so kind of you to give up her time for me.
Hey,
Right.
I'm a giver.
I will say this: I think
giver.
keeping one John in line is enough. Yeah.
Well, those from our planet have a difficult time since we only talk to ourselves. It's very difficult for us to take input from others.
Oh,
So you have to remember that.
Okay. All right. Well, now you know where you came from. That's a big deal in life, is to know where you came from. And so
It is.
we're glad to take you to Earth, where you can talk to anybody and everybody. We are wide open. We are very tolerant here on Earth. A little more tolerant than we should be, I think, sometimes. But I'm sure you'll like it. And anyway, your show's great, brother. I don't get to catch all of every show, but I like to come in and catch as much as I can. And I think it's a great format. I think more than anything else is I just love your background. I think you ought to take a picture of that and put it out there as a background other people can use. And,
well, that's actually real wood in my background.
I figured it was.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were doing like a screensaver or whatever, but
I would have no idea. My technology ability. It's kind of interesting when Mark was trying to set me up to do this show. Well, just click on your favorites bar, and I said, "What in the world is a favorites bar? I have no idea what you're talking about."
Sandy, you were going to ask him something.
I have to say something about the wood. It looks like you're in a sauna. Looks great.
Yes. I hadn't thought of that. So John Kalb is independently wealthy. He actually has a sauna built into his house, into his bathroom. So,
Yes. Well, actually, I suppose some days it does feel like a sauna in here, but just depending. But this is all real cedar on the sides.
Cool.
So.
I bet it smells good in there. Or is it
does. Yeah.
I bet it does.
But it's been up long enough now, you really don't get the smell. However, all of the bathrooms are all completely cedar lined. And so when you take a shower or whatever, you can actually still smell the cedar.
Wow.
Wow.
So,
we built this. Well, actually, I bought a lodge, and it had logs on it. We tore that off, and I built all the new roof on it and finished it all off myself. So.
How interesting.
Yeah.
So we have two guys that can do stuff like that. That's good. Come to my house.
Yeah. Her husband John is really good with tools. We have history through the past 8-9 years of all the different things. I mean, he has little mishaps from here to there. As a matter of fact, he bought himself a taser gun one time and was not real sure about, if he tased somebody, what it would feel like. So he tased himself just to check it out,
before a show. Right before a show. And it wasn't, he just wanted to know. He's like, what happens if you touch this?
We've got great stories, but my favorite of all of them is to find out that things happen to John during the week, and he'll get up in there. They have a congregation in Amarillo, Texas, and John will get up on stage, and during the service, he's kind of telling things that's going on, and he'll tell these things that happen. And Sandi doesn't know anything about it. And she finds out about these things at their service, at their Sabbath service. That's always the fun thing. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
It's true. Fact.
All
John
right, we
is
have
not
fun
handy
here.
with tools. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, it's time for the second third, and we're going to let Sandi give us a little short message, and then we're going to discuss what she has to say. We'll be right back.
We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet, dancing in the streets of gold. We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about patience. This is something nobody wants to talk about. Why? Do we pray for patience? I often hear from people, that's not a prayer that I'm going to pray. But in all actuality, it's something that we need to practice. But how do we practice it? Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Have you ever been praying about a situation in your life and found yourself waiting for breakthrough and waiting and waiting? Are you ever wondering, why hasn't the answer come yet? Why haven't I seen this happen? Why hasn't God? Why? Well, we've talked a little bit about this before, but we're going to come from a different angle. In fact, we may take a couple weeks for this for a reason, because I want us to understand that when we pray long and hard about a situation in our life, we want an answer, right? We don't want an answer tomorrow or in a year or 10 years or 30 years. We want it today. We want it this moment. But eventually, sometimes we just get stuck and we just learn to live with it. In fact, that thing we've been praying for just gets pushed aside. We don't even remember it except maybe, and we sort of give up. We get stuck. We get stuck in waiting. And I'm not quite sure. Well, yes, I am sure. That's not how Yah wants us to wait. That is not the description of patience. But we need to understand too that waiting is a fact of life. We have to be patient during this time. We'll be tested, and we'll be tested over and over. The question's not if we're going to wait, but how do we wait? Do we wait patiently? Do we give up? Do we get stuck? Are we constantly questioning God? Does it make us even wonder about who he really is? Well, maybe if we look at patience a little bit more closely in the Hebrew, we'll understand sort of how we're going to wait. And we're only going to do one word today, and because it comes in 3 words, okay? Patience. And we're going to look at the word hul, which is H2342. And the other words are chava, chivati, and arek. And those are the only 3 times listed in the Tanakh. Not in the Tanakh, but in the Torah itself. And it's listed, this word hul is listed other times in the rest of the Tanakh. In fact, it's listed enough that we can get this picture. And let's look at Psalm 37:7. It says, rest in Yahweh, wait patiently, cool for him. 59 times cool is written in the word, 59 times. And it's translated to twist or to twirl or to dance or even to writhe in pain, like if you're having a baby. And this should help us understand that as we wait patiently is the word, there's going to be joy, but there may also be pain mixed with that waiting as we patiently expect his word to come forth. But how do you wait patiently? How do you wait patiently through everything? Well, King David was like us. He waited on Yah through many battles, kingdom battles, personal troubles with family, troubles with leaders. He waited. And perhaps as a way to help himself on the right track, David wrote the word hul in this verse that we just read, Psalm 37:7, to wait patiently. Now, before we continue with that thought on David, I want to say there are two ways you can patiently wait. Well, I would say one's not patient because it's passive or expectantly. And we've talked about waiting and expectation before. But remember that a passive person hopes something's good's going to happen and is willing to wait, sit around for a while, see if it does. And after a short time, that's it. I've waited, nothing's happened. I give up. And there's just sort of a wish there. There's not any backbone there. There's not any reinforcement of the word. But if you're expectant and patient, and as you patiently wait, you're hopeful and you know the answer is just around the corner. You expect this problem to be solved any minute, today, right now. And you wait. And then suddenly, as you patiently wait, there it is. There's the answer. Well, I want to also think about what John Wesley said. John Wesley said, "Let none think his labor is lost because the fruit does not appear immediately." We want immediate fruit. Well, folks, that just doesn't happen. Even in your garden. Oh, I would love the fruit to show up quickly, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Human nature is to be impatient, whether we are just walking in ordinary life, whether there's these major battles we're facing, whatever it is, on our kids and our family, on our job, we are an impatient people for sure. We want things to happen quickly, fast, mature, fast. That's all there is to it. If we get impatient on the fast culture that we have today, that's not fast enough for us. But it's a flaw in us because impatience is not how Yah has called us to do anything. And if we have this unwillingness to cooperate with his plan and wait on his plan, not our own, then we're going to get in trouble. The word says, don't grow weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if we do not lose heart. Therefore, we have the opportunity. Let us do good to all, especially to those who are in the household of faith. That's Galatians 6:9-10. This is important for us to remember. Remember, I just mentioned a garden. For a seed's got to have proper conditions. You've got to have the right temperature. You've got to have the right amount of moisture. You've got to have the right amount of sun. You have to be patient when you're waiting for that. In fact, today I pulled in from market just a little bit ago and my pumpkins were blooming. And I was like, ooh, it's the first blooms of the season because I didn't plant them till late. And I was really excited because I've been waiting. When's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? But it happens. Waiting on this fruit in a garden, waiting on your miracle, whatever waiting you're doing, one thing has to happen and your flesh has to die. Ouch. Your nefesh has to disappear in this, because when you wait, that how we wait is important. Now let's go back to David, because David wrote, when he wrote this to wait patiently, he took this personal responsibility to ensure that he was waiting patiently. How do you wait patiently? Well, it's action. You're using this Hebrew form that means you're doing an action of oneself. It's the reflective hapitepel. It's that stem. And David took this kind of personal responsibility after the Amalekites took two of his wives. He wanted to go stone them immediately, but he didn't. In 1 Samuel 36, it says he encouraged himself in Yahweh. He encouraged himself. Well, what did he do? Well, it all is scriptural. It all had to keep its focus on him because he wrote Psalms. He played instruments. He danced. He prayed. He fasted. All of that activity is still centered on Yahweh, not centered on the world or the world's voice or the world's perspective or why me, feeling sorry for yourself. No, he changed his attitude in his heart because he focused on Yah with these activities. He had a mind focused on Yahweh and how good Yah is. No matter how long he had to wait, no matter what he was facing, everyone's going to experience pain in life. It's going to happen. And you're going to experience inconvenience. Paul says we must go through many hardships to enter into the kingdom. But we've got to wait patiently. Our responsibility is to take care of our mind and our emotions and our spirit by feeding on the word of Yah, by spending time with him in prayer and in praise. And yes, that's hard when you want that answer. That's hard when you want that answer. But patience is something we all need to learn. And even if you think you got it, I bet we could do better at it. I'm waiting on miracles right now. I'm waiting on promises to be fulfilled. And I expect it to happen. How do I change my attitude? How do I make sure I'm patient? I focus on Yah and his word. I declare, I decree, I praise, I worship, fast and pray. I tell others that it's about to happen and how good my Yah is. I sing him songs, whatever it takes. Let's wait patiently. Let's be a people that isn't called the fast food generations. Let's be a people that's known to have a smile on our face as we patiently expect the answer to come. Guys, come back in if you would.
Uh-oh. I got it, John. Yes, very good. Yes. Mm-hmm. John, you want to respond to that at all? You got something to add to all this?
I don't even know where to begin. Yeah, no, actually, I think you're absolutely right. We're in this time frame now. You know, we're watching all of the events happen, right? And Psalm 37, it says, because of man who brings wicked devices to pass, right? We're to have that patience, even though these men around us, whoever they may be, are bringing wicked things, wicked devices to pass, right? And so are we going to be patient in that time? It's a challenge because, you know, sometimes, you know, do we want to rise up and take our country back? You know, that's a lot of what's going on today in this patriot movement I see out there. Oh, we got to, you know, and God's going to win. We're going to be on that side and blah, blah, blah. I see a deception there also in man's devices here, because are we waiting for Trump to come back or a political leader to rise up, or are we putting our faith and our hope and our trust in our Savior? And that, to me, I think is this critical thing. And hopefully that's kind of the direction that you were going, because, you know, it says those who wait on Yah shall renew their strength. Will we do that? Will we renew our strength by waiting on him patiently?
That's good. Yeah. Excellent. My thought, and it's so funny because I'm going to be 68 next month. And yet a lot of my memories come from 30 to 40 years ago. A time in my life when I was excited about life and all kinds of things were working. I was working in the mainstream and a part of several different things going on, all kinds of things. But one thing I remember when I hear the word patience is I used to remember back in the days when you had posters hanging on the wall, you know, like this, like Bob Dylan posters, you know, hanging on the wall. I used to have a poster, and it was a real common poster that you could find in a lot of places, of a buzzard sitting on this branch, and all you see is desert behind him. And the caption down at the bottom said, "Patience, my ass, I'm going to kill some." That was always my whole outlook on life. Patience? I'm not going to have patience. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to go do this. And it's interesting because Monty Judah, who was my mentor, we're still really good friends. It hadn't been anything bad between us, but back in the days when I sat under Monty in the ministry and everything, we would have long talks. And one time, Monty told me, we were talking about a sermon that I was going to give from the pulpit there at Lion Lamb, Benai Shalom. And Monty said, you know, you're really good at putting things together and organizing. The thing is you just don't have any patience. You just jump into, you have an idea and you just jump into it. I mean, you organize, you put it all together, but you don't stand back and look at the logistics of what may happen. What are the options that may happen if you do this? what if you do this, what may happen here? And he says, you just need to have more patience and sit back and look at the options, look at the different ways life can go, the different things that you have planned. How might this work? And I took that to heart. On some things I do, and some things I still jump into. It's one of those things where sometimes life gives us the ability to. Sometimes things have to be taken care of quickly, sometimes not. I'll tell you one thing that I really believe caused people and made people have patience and realize this was 2020, the last 2/3 of 2020, when everybody got put on lockdown and everybody had different things that were totally given to them here in the States that we never had before. I mean, things that we were forced into. We were forced to have patience and learn what we believed and what we didn't believe, right, Sandy? I mean, we had things that, yeah, we were supposed to be prepared for everything. Matter of fact, Monty taught us to prepare for anything and be ready and stuff. Yet something like this hits and they force patience on you. They force you to sit and wait because you didn't know how long it was going to last. You didn't know what was going to come up next. What was the new president going to force us to do? All of that different stuff. And I remember that time as being a major learning experience for me when it comes to patience. It really was. And of course, along with Monty's advice and that type of thing. But yet still today, of course, I'm getting older and time goes faster and I go slower, and you tag in a lot of those things that are in your past and what you're going to. You guys are kids, you still got a long way to go to get to where I am. But anyway, that's kind of my take on it. Patience, my ass, I'm going to kill something. That's just the way I've always lived.
Yeah, I remember when we first got married, and my wife and I, and we were listening to some of these different teachers, and you need to pray for patience. And so I did that. And after about 3 years, my wife said, "You need to stop praying. We've got enough on our plate."
Exactly. Hey, John, I was wondering, because you do the news and you relate it to our lives. I mean, the biggest thing that I hear now, well, I'm waiting on Yeshua to, come and things like that and straighten out this mess. How is there any specific events in the world situation that you can mention on this part of this segment anyway, or anything that you've experienced as you're relating news and things together specifically that you'd like to bring out that really displays or challenges us in a specific way?
Oh, wow. That's a
put you on the
loaded
spot.
question. I think, well, I guess the first thing that pops into my mind is what we talked about a little bit earlier with this manufactured crisis, of all of these things going on. Are we going to enter into a food crisis? And I think we are. Is it manufactured? I think it absolutely is. I was born and raised here in South Dakota. I farmed most of my life. And so I'm kind of still have my finger in that pulse of things. And the farming community is really under a lot of pressure right now, not just here, but globally. And so how that is going to affect everyone, I think, is a very intricate part of this. And I do think that this great reset and all of the things that are coming really is this opening up of, whether you want to say the seals or however that is, that we're getting into this time frame where I think it's the lukewarm are going to be spewing out of the mouth. We're either going to be hot or cold. Is I guess
That's
I
very
think the
true.
time frame that we're entering into. Laodicea really that means people's opinion, and so that's the time that we're in. And everyone has their opinion. They have their way that they want to worship, and you can't tell me what to do because it's the buffalo wing smorgasbord when it comes to the Bible. I can do this and I can do that. We don't have to obey everything. John 14:15, he says, if you love me, you'll obey what I command. Are we willing to obey? Are we willing to follow the precedents that he has set before us, as we come into this time? Because I think it's going to get even more difficult as we go forward. And are we going to put our faith and our hope and our trust in that coming day, right? We're to have hope in the coming of the Messiah, but that we're also supposed to occupy until he comes. So how do we balance that out? And I think that's the real challenge. Will we have patience to wait, or are we going to go out and kill something? Because I think that's the issue. We're in I think we're born for such a time as this, and it's going to be a challenge for everyone on the earth until we are removed, or however that works too. That's a whole nother topic, but.
Oh, very well said. I think that's very well said. I like it. Go ahead, Sandy.
Well, I was going to say, I think as relating to what you just said, John, we have this tendency when we're not waiting patiently to take the bull by the horns, so to speak, and birth an Ishmael, or circumvent the journey that Yah has us on, and we're no longer walking in the path of righteousness. We're walking in our own path, in the paths of chaos, which will not bring us rest. Ultimately, if we're waiting patiently on him and focusing on him, we'll stay on the path of righteousness, which will bring us rest. And of course, I am teaching that on Tuesday nights, but nonetheless, we've got to be careful that we don't try to control the situation, because we literally push Yahweh off the throne and say, okay, it's not happening like I want it to happen here, or in the timing I want it to happen. So I'll sit in the throne of my life in this area. And then we create a bigger mess that he has to clean up than we had to start with. And I think that's a tendency of people is to, I can't wait any longer. I'll take care of this, Father. I'll do it. Or,
Right.
as I said earlier, just give up and you don't even think about it anymore. It's not going to happen. And that brings in a whole nother spiritual issue. And you lose perspective of who Yahweh really is, because he is good when all the time.
Right.
So.
Well, I think you're right on it, because when we try to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic, so to speak, this judgment that's coming on the world is coming on the world. We cannot change it. It's coming. Whether it happens in our lifetime or, we can debate all that later, but the judgment is coming. So are we going to get in and try to rearrange things to go our way? And I know I've actually said this on my show several times. I thought I had Revelation figured out until a few years ago. And as things are playing out, it's completely changed my perspective. And I don't want to get myself into one train of thought where I miss what's really coming. Because it's easy to say, well, no, the third temple has to be here, or this has to happen, or that has to happen before he comes. And I've tried to remove myself from that and say, how about we just watch as things come patiently, as you're saying, and try to live our best life we can in that moment, instead of, oh, this all has to happen, because we can think this has to happen, and we're going to miss, I think, some of the blessings and some of the joy and that shalom that we can have when we don't see things happening the way that we want.
Yes, that's good. It's good. Any last words, Mark?
Yeah, I do. Anybody that thinks they've got Revelations figured out, needs to back up. I mean, they need to hear that beep, 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 and back it up, because there ain't no way anybody has. I'll give you a little scenario on that. Back in my Christian days, there was a time when I heard so many like Copeland and Caps and so many of those that I was following so vividly, and being right there with them. John Osteen, I used to worship with John Osteen. I went to his house and knew all these people, and there was a period of time when they were teaching Revelation, and every one of them had a different view on the book of Revelation and how it was going to turn out. And it freaked me out. It was like I was not grounded enough to realize that they could all have different opinions. And I was so freaked out, I stopped serving the Lord and backslid. I did. I walked away from the Lord because I couldn't figure it out. So once again, anytime I hear somebody say, I've got Revelations figured out, or I thought I did, it's like, no, you don't. And don't even go there. But Sandi, real quick, to finish up here, you said something a while ago about birthing Ishmael. Oh my gosh, that just sent floods of thought through my head. Abraham had no patience and birthed Ishmael instead of waiting on the Lord for Isaac. Right?
Or Sarah.
Isn't that what happened? No, I understand, but it was Abraham's two sons. He didn't have the stinking patience. I mean, sure, Sarah may have said something, but it was Abraham. And oh my gosh, if we could meditate on that and put that together and learn from that story and the implications still going on today because of that impatience. Oh my gosh, it's world wars because of that little time frame of impatience, even though we know that was supposed to happen. And yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry. That really got me to thinking.
How many things have we done in our life as we waited impatiently that are still reverberating and affecting us in the generations after us or the generations before us? And we're living with the consequences of that impatience. Because I guarantee we're all like Abraham in things. We've all probably at one point or another waited on something impatiently, and so we did it ourselves. And there are consequences. And what Abraham did, of course, has consequences forever. And but our actions also affect the generations that go after us and those around us too.
Might I balance that by saying sometimes good comes from killing something, but it doesn't always, but sometimes there's a balance in there. Sometimes the Lord makes good out of the things that we've not done his way. So anyway, great. They're always great. I never know how your subjects are going to go, though. They're always great, Sandi. I never know. And every time, especially when our guests come on here and enter into these discussions, they are always the best. Really so good. Thank you, Sandi, so much for bringing that. Let's, you know what? I'm just sick and tired of being serious. Let's get out of here.
We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet, dancing in the streets of gold. We'll be dancing in the streets, dancing at his feet.
By the way, John, all of the music I use for all our intros and stuff, They can make you a bobblehead if you'll just listen to them. Bobblehead. Sandy and I bobblehead all the time. So anyway. All right. Well, here we go. And for the next thing we're going to do is...
Shall we play a game?
I love to let movies talk for me if I can. I would do everything based on a movie if I can. So first we play a game called Torah or Not Torah. I see shadows in the background. It's either Sugar is standing on its hind legs or John's around.
John just came in with water. We've been out of water, so he just came in with some. So, but
right.
I'm going to read a statement, and Mark's going to ask the question: is this Torah? Is this Torah? Is it not Torah?
It's something like that.
You told me there wouldn't be a test.
Your answer, Torah or not Torah, will be based on whether Sandy's statement is true, and it is found in the first 5 books of the Bible, of course, Torah. Ready, John? All right, Sandy, number 1.
On the cover of the ark, the faces of the cherubim were looking away from each other, so their wings covered the ark.
Torah or not Torah?
Looking away from each other. I thought they faced each other, so I would have to say, their wings covered the ark, though. This is a trick question. No.
No.
I'm going to say I think it's Torah. Yeah.
You're going to say Torah, that they face each other? Remember,
they face each other.
Remember, some of these may come from the MDSB.
Well,
no, they're real scripture. No, it's actually not Torah. You were right first. Exodus 25:20 says the cherubim shall spread out their wings above, overshadowing the mercy seat with their wings, their faces one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the face of the cherubim be. All right, very good. So you're kind of getting an idea how this works. Anyway. All right, number 2, Sandy.
The Ark of the Covenant was made of wood, but overlaid inside and out with gold.
Torah or not Torah?
Torah.
That's right. They shall make an ark of acacia wood and overlay it with pure gold. That's right. Number 3, Sandy.
The fruit Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil was an apple.
Torah or not Torah?
I say not.
Not Torah? Well, it doesn't specify what fruit, but hey, we've heard it enough. I mean, what they teach in Sunday school, isn't that all true? Isn't everything we were taught in Sunday school?
Well, my guess is there had to be a worm in it, right?
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Sandy, number 4.
God told the children of Israel that images of angels were to be placed within the curtains of the tabernacle.
Torah or not Torah?
I think not.
Why would you think not?
Well, I think he told us not to create an image in the 10 Devarim, right? So why would he say we should put an image up inside the tabernacle?
That's right. Usually that's the first thing that you go to. Exodus 26:1. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains of fine twined linen and blue and purple and scarlet yarns. You shall make them with cherubim skillfully worked into them. So that could be either way, but how did they work the images of cherubim into there? So, it could work either way. So we'll give you that one way or another. Sandy, number 5.
When printing God's name, the vowels must be dashed out so as not to use the Lord's name in vain.
Torah or not Torah?
Oh, this is such
Torah?
a debate.
Is this Torah, John?
I don't think so, but
You don't think so?
no.
It's not in the third book of Leviticus that you have to do. No, I didn't. No, it's not. It's just not Torah at all. It's just something. Anyway, number 6, Sandy.
The poles used to carry the Ark of the Covenant were to remain in the rings on the side of the Ark at all times.
Torah or not Torah?
Actually, I don't think they needed to stay in there, but they needed to be used to carry it, and made of acacia wood. So I think that's a not Torah.
Okay. Exodus 25:14. And you shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark to carry the ark by them. The poles shall remain in the rings of the ark. They shall never be taken from it.
See? Yeah, well,
hey, how many of these things have we read for years? Yet we just, we focus on other things.
Exactly.
All these different things that I've come up with for this game, and we do have a physical game of about 400 cards in it that it makes you think. We play it at Sukkot. We played it for years, Sandy, haven't we? It's fun. It really, one person sees it this way, another person sees it this way, and pretty soon you open up, and an hour and a half later you go on to the next card. It's just the way it was. So, all right. So number 7, Sandy.
The lampstand within the tabernacle had 9 candlesticks to remind the people about the miracle of Hanukkah.
Torah or not Torah?
I think that is not. I think the number would have been 7.
That's right. That's right. Well, didn't they have like extra extensions they could add to the outside during Hanukkah season that they could just like click into? There was little knobs on the stand where they just kept them over on the shelf. And when Hanukkah came around, they just clicked them in, and you had no, it didn't. No, okay.
That's that buffet lifestyle again.
That's what it is. That's right. All right. Last one, Sandy.
The covering over the tabernacle was made from goats.
Torah or not Torah?
Well, that's an interesting one because I've looked into that, and it could have been sea cows as well. So which was it? And I got to remember.
Depends on which version.
John's version says
the JKV.
The JKV, right? Which I've actually been accused of having, by the way.
Yeah. I've not only been accused of having an MDSV. I have one. It's right there. You saw the video. Earlier.
I saw the video. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I think I will say it is Torah, but with a question mark, thinking I'm not positive on the hide. I think it could have been sea cows. But
it's more of which version that you got. You shall, let's see, Exodus 26:7. You shall also make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shall you make. That's right. So look for the newest version of the MDSB coming your way soon. Right. All right. Okay.
Well, at least I didn't flunk all the way.
Well, it's just, it literally gets you to think.
No,
so
it's
the next
fun.
time you read that in your Torah portions, you'll think about that and put it to the test. All right. So we have a new game of an old game that we used to do. So we'll be right back. Okay, sorry. Yes, kids, that's right. It's time to play Bible Jeopardy. Sandy.
All right. I'm going to read off a statement. It could be a verse, scripture, or just a statement. Who knows? Only the one who wrote this game knows for sure. Just like the famous game Jeopardy, you will then answer the statement in the form of a question. Unlike the famous game of Jeopardy, we will pick the category for you. First category, sayings of Yeshua. Some seed fell alongside the path. Other seed fell on rocky patches. Other seed fell among thorns, but others fell into the rich soil and produced grain.
God. Yeah.
What is the parable of the seed and the sower?
Right on. And for an extra point, what book is this parable in?
That it would be in the book of Matthew, I believe.
Very good. And for an extra point, what chapter is it in?
That's a lot harder for me to think off the top of my head, but
You don't have to, man.
yeah, I'm trying to think here. I think it's right around chapter 11, somewhere in there, but I'm not
13.
positive.
It's 13:4, so that's good. All right. And for an extra point, what Torah portion is that in?
No idea.
No, it's New Testament. So anyway. All right, Sandy.
Same category, sayings of Yeshua. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
That would be, what is the Our Father prayer? Or depending on how you want to word that.
Is the Lord's Prayer?
Right.
Yeah, that's the more common.
The Lord's Prayer or the Our Father prayer, or yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, that works. That works for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what book it's in?
I think it's in multiple. I think it's in all the Gospels except John. Is it not?
I think it's only in Matthew.
It's only in Matthew? You could be right.
Sandy, do you know? That's
Can't
what I
tell you.
have, but I'm pretty sure it's only in Matthew. Chapter 6, verse 9.
Because we read the Hebrew Matthew on Shabbat. So,
Yeah. Right.
We'll do the.
But,
Right.
But that's fine. It can be in all your books. If you All right, Sandy.
This is a new category. Period of the judges between Joshua and Samuel. She persuaded Samson into revealing the secret of his great strength.
Oh. Who would be Delilah?
That's exactly right. And do you know what book that's in?
Well, I think that's in the book of Judges.
Very good, brother. Very, very good. All right. Next one, Sandy. Very good.
Same category. Period of judges between Joshua and Samuel. All that you have commanded us, we will do, and wherever you send us, we will go.
This is a little harder.
This is a little harder. How do I word it? In the form of a question, because this is what is the response of the Israelites to Yah, because this was wait a minute, say it again.
Go ahead, Sandy.
All that you have commanded us, we will do, and wherever you send us, we will go.
Right. I think it's the response of the Israelites to the command to go into the land.
Going into the land.
Right.
Yeah. So in the book of Joshua, it is what did the army of Moses say to Joshua after Moses died? It was like right after you go into Joshua and they started going into war.
Right.
So yeah, there's a place though when Moses was going up on the mountain and the people said, you go up and whatever the Lord says we'll do.
Right.
That sounds like the same thing, but that's not, those are not the words of it. So a little tricky there. A little tricky. All right, Sandy, new category.
It's Levitical instructions. It was to be used to fuel the lampstand of the tabernacle.
What is olive oil?
Hey, very good. All right. And what book is that in?
Good question.
Yeah, good question. It almost sounds like Leviticus.
Yes,
It's
since that's what she
Levitical
said.
instructions,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's in Exodus 27:20. Getting towards the end, getting close to Leviticus, but still in Exodus. So, all right, same category, Sandy Lou.
Levitical instruction: the thumb of the right hand, the great toe of the right foot, and the tip of his right ear.
What were body parts to have the blood put on? Is that? I don't know how else to word it.
To who?
Oh, to Aaron.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. What parts of Aaron's body were the blood of the ram placed? Very good, brother.
Good.
Very good.
It's
All
good.
right. All right. And do you know what book that's in?
That's probably in Exodus.
It's Leviticus.
Leviticus. It's in one of them ones in the
One
beginning.
of those, and yeah, one of those. There. All right. I
One of
like
the
it.
first five, right?
All right. And so the last one, Sandy.
It is
Did it make
Levitical
it way up?
instruction.
What?
It
What,
says
John?
any animal that has divided hooves and is cleft-footed and chews the cud.
That would be a clean animal available to eat.
And the question is,
Oh, what is a clean animal?
what
That
is
we-
kosher would be just perfectly fine.
Oh,
But you
yeah.
got it. You got it. You got extra points for specifying there.
Oh, okay.
You're up to 42,000 points now, brother.
Will that pay for my trip home?
No, not yet. It was.
I got to get back to my planet.
Well, that's up to you. We're just bringing you to Earth, man. You got to find your way.
Beam me up, Scotty. These people are crazy.
But we are going back to Buffon here pretty soon. So if you want to catch a ride, well, we got to pick up more buffalo, some buffaloes and some buffapregos.
Uh-huh.
I thought Sandy was not going to finish her line in the skit there. She was laughing so hard when she read buffaloes and buffapregos. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
that was funny.
That was good. I had to go back. I wrote it differently, and then I came up with those backstage. I was laughing typing it in. Okay, Sandy, let's do this one. So, Sandy, yours. I hope you have this. Okay, you're muted. There.
Okay, there it is. I had to wait with that leg. So, anyway, this is the headline. Man uses giant.
No, read your deal. John's never done this before, so.
Oh, okay.
read your
Sorry about that.
instructions.
Sorry about that, John. I'm going to read an actual headline from Current Events. And Mark, who may or may not have heard or read this story, he's going to tell us the rest of the story. And it will be your responsibility to determine if Mark is telling the truth about the story.
Yeah.
Okay, here it
Okay.
is. Man uses giant billboard to get rid of stuff.
To get rid of stuff.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I thought everybody knew about this. This was in Wisconsin, by the way. And this woman had she had bought different billboards, so she could put up a message about a business that she had owned, and it was a flower shop, And so she had like multiple business or billboards all around Wisconsin, not just in, just all over the state. And she wanted to expand her flower shop business. Well, her husband, who didn't really find it to be, something that he wanted to be a part of, he decided that he would open his own business, and it would be a lawnmower repair business. And, just to have something for him to do too. But he knew his wife had already paid for all these billboards all around Wisconsin. And without telling her, he went around to these, well, he actually went to yard sales and a bunch of, thrift shops, and he bought these old lawnmowers, real old lawnmowers. He had like 120 different old lawnmowers, and most of them didn't work. So what he did is he went around to every one of these billboards, and he hung these lawnmowers up on her billboards, and then took spray paint and wrote the name of his business next to it in the open space of her billboards. And that's what the story is.
I've not heard this story, but it sounds to me as if you made up Paul Harvey's restaurant.
What? I made it up? Oh no, you don't. You need to read some Wisconsin news. All over the Wisconsin news. I don't know that it made it, to other states, but this was all over. I read Wisconsin news every day. About the only thing I read is Wisconsin. So, Sandy, did I get it right?
You got it wrong. Actually,
What?
it was Canada. It was a Canadian man. He actually used a giant billboard to get rid of the leftover string cheese in his refrigerator. Yeah. This Canadian man found this string cheese, and he was wanting to clean house. So he's 48 years old, and he moved to Toronto, and he wanted to get rid of the string cheese that he found in his fridge. So he placed an ad for the cheese on the Canadian advertising site, Kijiji or something like that. And he didn't receive anything. So he wanted to see how Billboard would do. And he said, it's pretty good string cheese. I haven't seen string cheese in a long time. And I think, it's some value, and I want to get rid of it. And what's more amazing is he's actually had some response. I'm sorry. This is just weird to me. You want to get rid of the string cheese in your fridge so you pay money on a billboard? Yeah. So
real cheese hung on a billboard. Yeah, I don't think that it would last very long, but anyway, okay. I may have got the story wrong, but I think my story was a lot more interesting.
It was. This story was a boring one, but it was weird. Totally weird.
Well, it opened it up for me to come up with my own story, which I love to do, by the way. So, okay, John, you figured it out. I made it up. I made the story up. But anyway, it did happen in Wisconsin.
It was about cheese, Wisconsin and cheese.
Wisconsin and cheese. Oh, Wisconsin, yeah. Well, it happened in Canada. Wisconsin's right up there. That's where I got it mixed up. Is I thought that anyway.
I think in Wisconsin they say A all the time too. So
hey,
yeah,
beauty. That's what I think. Beauty. All right. Well, Sandy, we're about there. We're pretty close to being done. And John, man, I loved having you on, man. Loved having you on. You were a great addition to this. And did you have fun?
I had fun. Yeah.
Would you come back?
Well, Maybe for some string cheese.
Oh,
Okay, well, I guess we have to send him some string cheese for him to come back on.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for being honest. I appreciate that. Everybody else is like, oh, yes, we love it. We're having so much fun. We would love to come back. Yes. Oh, so. And John's like, well, I don't know, maybe. So at least you're honest, brother. I appreciate that.
I try. Yeah.
All right. Well, and so what you got coming up in the future here for your show?
Well, hopefully we're going to try again to have Gil Burchard on this next week's show. He was supposed to be on last week, and that's about Planet 7X, the comet that's maybe coming. And so hopefully that will develop. His computer would not connect to the internet for whatever reason until halfway through the show. So we're going to try that again. And then I think the week after that, Dr. Stephen Pidgeon is going to be on our show. And that's going to be an interesting one because what we're going to talk about is the way we worship, or to phrase I should phrase this in the form of a question. Does the way we worship determine the who we worship?
Oh, wow.
I preached a message on that. I did. I preached a message on that. And I think you played it on the network in the last couple months.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. How interesting. Wow.
I preached a message on that. Yep.
Good.
Well,
Okay,
we had Gil Burchard actually at our congregation before. I still have some of his DVD CDs that he put out there, that we made of his speaking. So very cool.
That's great. It's great that his show follows Monday Reason. It all kind of flows right together. Well, we got to go. So, John, thanks a million for joining us, and we will invite you back eventually.
All right.
Probably when somebody doesn't show up, I'll just get hold of you and say, John.
That'll be fine. Yeah.
All right.
So that happens. I almost called you on Monday.
Right.
So.
Okay, well, there's only one other thing that we have to let everybody know before we go, and this is it.
Be excellent to each other.
Be excellent to
Be excellent to each other. It's almost like amen. I think it means whatever you want it to mean, but mostly it's just like be excellent to each other.
Means, yeah, I think it just means to be excellent to each other, really.
That's right. Be excellent to each other, and in all your ways, acknowledge him. So, thanks again, John, and we're going to let Sandy take us out. Sandy Lou, it's up to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Planet Earth. We hope that our guest, John from the planet Jonan, will enjoy his stay here on planet Earth. And I hope you've been using your audio, voice, and text machines, video phones that can be used to do 1,000 other things to invite everyone you know to the very next flight, 777, Planet Chapter 14 on Lamb Airlines. And of course, tell them to listen 24/7 to 777 on their radio dial and watch Lamb Network TV in their favorite browser. On behalf of Lamb Airlines and the entire crew, again, we'd like to thank John from Jonan for joining us, and we thank all of our audience for joining us on Flight 777, Chapter 13. Though we hope you never have to actually file a Chapter 13, we look forward to seeing you on board every Thursday. Have a nice day here on the planet who boasts that the side of the moon that faces Earth is relatively low and flat, and the one that faces away is a much thicker crust. There was once a companion moon that collided with the far side of our current moon. More on this next week. The Planet Chapter. Have a great day here on planet Earth. Father, go with us along the way. Let us be patient. We give it all to you in Yeshua's name.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.